quick here and see what Bellular has to say about these pre-patch events.
Welcome back to the news, everyone. So, less than 5 weeks to go until Dragonflight, and quite a lot of things are going on. We've got very major milestones in the testing process, sweeping enough change to how Mythic Plus and its loot is going to work, which is quite interesting, some nice clarifications for alt leveling, and a whole bunch more. And also, a bit of a personal update at the end, has some important things in it, and also an explanation of why I'm in a bizarre box right now.
He's in a weird spot there. What the hell?
First then, pre-patch things. As you likely know, the 50% XP boost is currently live, and that's something that is going to continue to be live until pre-patch starts, which according to this leak, should be about the 25th of this month. Now, fresh data mining is revealing that the pre-patch is almost certainly going to happen in 2 waves. The first wave, which will, of course, come out first, that's not going to include the Evoker Drakthir. No, it's going to be the systems changes like the new UI and
so we're going to get these 3 things, and then we're going to get the exciting stuff.
We believe, based on these splash screens, is going to have the Evokers, like the Uldaman as well, and also the Elemental Invasions. So we're almost there. Really should be 2 weeks until we actually see the very start of this. And with that said...
Okay, hold on. So this was the leak, remember, a long time ago. October 25th pre-patch. Global launches on November 28th. That was right. So basically, we're not going to get the real pre-patch stuff until probably a week after this. So November, we're going to get like our specs, right? We're going to get our spec changes, the UI changes, and just the announcement of Dragonflight coming. But
let's talk about a little bit more of testing. All the events and stuff aren't coming until later. So to get in sync there, the testing is rolling on. Mythic Plus testing is beginning with purchasable class tier sets hitting the alpha, which is great because it basically means proper endgame testing on characters with tier. Now, raid testing is also ongoing, and they're actually planning a whole bunch of normal mode testing where the whole raid is just going to be open. So that's pretty cool. Now, we've got a few minor UI things.
I haven't done any raid testing. I don't
Dragonflight, Great Vault, sort of little visual overhaul. We've also got that the Vigor will change from gray to blue whenever it's full, which is a better visual indicator. The Dragon Riding Talent UI also looks a bit more Dragonflight-ish. And we've also got resizing options for player, target, and party frames, which is pretty good. So
I might actually give this a try. I'm not going to lie. I might give this all a try just to see if I can get the same UI layout that I have now with my add-ons to come up, you know, looking like this. Or at least I might get rid of Z-Pearl. I might get rid of Z-Pearl because some of this Uniframe stuff, it looks clean. I might try using it.
While those Overwatch 2 servers are squealing, basically, the WoW progress is going on fairly nicely. Next, though, we do have a big raft of changes. And normally, this is where I would promo the Patreon stuff, like our latest loot. Here it is, by the way. But for now, I'll just say, just stick around till the end of the video because I do have a bunch of updates for you. And with that said, let's get into this Mythic Plus situation.
Yeah, this is big.
All right,
we talked about this the other day. The percentage increase in difficulty and the highest key you can do for your vault has now changed. Not to mention vault gear is now going to be like mythic rating level. So, and now I'm not just talking about like intro. I'm talking about like gearing the F out as if you're a mythic raider through Mythic Plus. There's big changes here that I don't think people realized when it first got announced.
Not everybody cares about Mythic Plus. I'd say give this one a shot. If not, you can always skip forward in the video. But okay, Mythic Plus is changing quite a bit in this expansion per Blizzard's rather chunky post. Seasonal affixes are being rethought, and they're actually moving to something that is a bit more simple. I'm actually going a bit away from the Kiss Curse design that honestly a lot of players have liked recently. Now, Blizzard basically say that with Dragonflight's, every season having a completely new dungeon pool, well, that means that they're not really going to need the seasonal affix as much. And of course, they did highlight the other benefits there.
By the way, I think they should have made the new Dragonflight dungeons the first 4 dungeons that we do. Rather than 2 Dragonflight and 2 old ones, I think for the first season of the new expansion, we want to do the new dungeons. I think they should have just made it like the new dungeons for this and that was it, and then start bringing in old ones.
It does mean that it's easier to go into a new season because it's a new dungeon pool for everybody else, instead of halfway through the expansion, you want to pick up Mythic Plus and, oh, every other player has 6 to 8 months of meta knowledge built in that you just don't have, right? So that stuff all helps them not really feel like they need a seasonal affix as much. And also, I thought this was kind of interesting, like, they do like the seasonal affixes, they do like the experimentation, but they feel that the seasonal affixes don't actually stand to the game in the long run, because ultimately, well, they're in and then they're gone. Whereas a lot of the other affixes they've developed have generally stuck around for longer than a single season. So I suppose a overall theme of Dragonflight is Blizzard thinking about how they can maybe make life easier for themselves in the future by designing more sustainable foundations.
I think Mythic Plus has the changes have been good.
This all does make sense to me, even though seasonal affixes are something that I've liked, especially the most recent one. But yeah, they're less needed if a new season means a totally new dungeon pool.
Right.
Blizzard also said that the borrowed power from, I suppose, the Kiss part of the Kiss Curse design of the seasonal affixes also could just get a little bit out of hand. Now, they have basically rescoped what a seasonal affix is, and they've got a new one here called Thundering.
Yeah, we talked about Thundering yesterday.
They said it's going to change, like change mechanically and stuff, but if you take a look at this video on Alpha, I mean, it is essentially just spread, dodge the balls, and don't run into the balls from your friends. And it just happens every 75 seconds.
It's not too bad.
Yawn? That's kind of boring.
I don't want something that makes it too crazy, honestly.
If it's going to be like this, I'd almost just say, are we doing this just for the sake of having a new affix appear at +10 or something? Because that's what we've been used to. I mean, I can see this particular mechanic being a neat piece of movement within the context
dodge
of
the
a fight.
fireballs.
But for it to be an every 75 seconds thing for a 6-month-long season, honestly, I think that will get rather old and it'll just be a bit annoying. Now, in fairness, their post is not concrete. It is full of asks for feedback, so Blizzard, they're not really saying this is completely set in stone. And even on the idea of having a Kiss Curse thing, like, they're happy to make you more powerful, but they did say it would probably come in the form of mobs being a bit more powerful. Now, as for my take in this, look, I enjoy it when a seasonal affix changes up a dungeon via something like mob placements, which is actually why I really quite like the Shrouded affix that we just have. But to have some annoying thunderballs to deal with every 75 seconds, well, that
I guess
just
my opinion's
seems
a bit
rather annoying. It doesn't...
I don't find like extreme joy in running Mythic Plus. I like it's fun. It's a cool part of the game, and I'm happy it's there. I like doing it. But I don't want a seasonal affix to make an entire season just feel like, oh, now we got the dildo affix. We're gonna slap your screen with dildos, and you can't see anything for 30 seconds during a fight. I don't want an affix that just increases the difficulty of every Mythic Plus exponentially. And then the next season it's an easier affix, and now I can do higher. I just want an affix that, you got to think about it for a little bit. You got to maybe move, do a little bit of shit, and then you're back to where you were. I don't want something too crazy. But I guess people who like just run Mythic Plus really want something intense every season.
Seem really that
I like
thematically
this season,
strong.
Like this I don't think this season's affix were too difficult.
It had a narrative
cool.
framing that made sense.
We have a Dreadlord every once in a while.
Honest,
that's fine.
When we're reducing it to
like
what
that.
Thundering appears to be, to me it really just kind of loses its identity, and I almost would rather not bother with the exercise. Yeah. Now, also, they've said that the affix rotation is now going to be 10 weeks, and yes, they did confirm, of course, the death of
What was it
Necrotic
before?
and Inspiring. Next, then, we've got to talk about rewards and gearing, because, wow, this is
this
a bit of a change.
This was a big change.
So they've talked about some of the M plus gearing problems, right? They want it to have more progression as you push, because obviously it stops at +15 right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You're going to keep on getting better rewards up
Did you get your
until
Keymaster
Mythic
done
plus
yet? No,
20,
not yet, but
and
I'm making
Mythic
good
plus
progress.
11, enemy health and
I
damage
should
will
have it
scale
soon.
up by 10%
I'll probably
per
do like
keystone
2
level,
Mythic Plus
up from
dungeons
8.
today.
So that's a small difference between any 2 keystone levels,
Look at
but
the
across maybe
percentage increase difference. We talked about this. At a plus 11, it starts to increase at a much quicker rate in terms of difficulty.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
That's
it
the
is
change that they
actually
made.
quite a large increase in difficulty because, especially just of how those percentages work, where, yeah, it's a slightly higher percentage,
20
but,
key is
you know,
80%
it's a
more
percentage
difficult
of an
than it used to be.
ever-increasingly getting larger thing, and so on and so forth. So, I've done some numbers here for you. A plus 10 gets you eye level 392 at the end of a run, which is a tad below the mid-tier of normal mode raid loot, and 398 in the vault, which is the same as the final two bosses on normal mode. Now, that's kind of interesting. In Season 4, a plus 10 drops to 81 from the end of a dungeon, which is about mid-normal mode, and to 91 from the vault,
if
which
you're
is
pushing high
actually
keys,
the
you're
start
gonna gear
of
out
heroic
way
gear.
faster in
Now, plus
Dragonflight.
15 in Season 4 drops eye level 288 from the end of a dungeon, and then 304 from the vault. Now, that's interesting because 288, that is slightly below heroic gear, while 304 is actually the base mythic item level. In Dragonflight, a plus 15 is dropping the equivalent item level of the final two normal bosses, and then the vault drops eye level 411, which
Right.
is heroic final two boss item level rather than the start of mythic, which it currently is right now. So they're actually being notched down a little bit, but of course they will, be going up a bit higher. Because the point is these rewards increase all the way up to Mythic plus 20,
Yeah,
which
now
is going
because
to
the
drop
key
just
goes up so
shy
high.
of heroic mid-tier boss loot, but it will actually get you Mythic mid-boss item level loot.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing,
you're pushing
actually,
20 keys,
is that
you're
they're
gonna be
adding in
geared
a
as shit.
13th upgrade level, and that will take you to 415, which is not as good as a maxed output of Vault gear, but it is actually closer. Yeah, so essentially the best Vault item that you could get, that you can get in Dragonflight, is 3 item levels less than the best gear at the end of Mythic. In Shadowlands, that number is actually 7
Hey,
less.
Nanu. Good to
And
see you
then
again.
it's
Yes,
like
what's... Oh, my God.
End
I
Mythic
just went off the
versus
edge.
a Mythic plus 20.
Yes, good to see you
What's
again,
harder?
too.
So I think we're having the situation where Mythic Plus is still really quite rewarding in
Yeah,
the new
Mythic Plus is
expansion.
extremely rewarding,
You're
and
certainly going
honestly
to have
essential
to work
for
pretty
rating
hard
at this
for
point.
it, though, because of, well, it's from a plus 20, and that's actually pretty damn hard content.
If you're in
but I
QN,
suppose
it's
while
streamable,
you're
yeah.
also getting the best gear from a plus 20, you'll be unlocking your dungeon portals and things like that, assuming they are keeping that reward going. And I guess also for Blizzard, they probably have realized the issue with raiders, right? Where for a lot of us people who could just, easily do normal in like the first week and then start slowly just having some fun progressing through heroic, a lot of
Right.
us could just split off into groups of 5 and get way better gear from the Great Vault through Mythic Plus. So perhaps with this, Blizzard are trying to make it so that to really get the good Mythic Plus gear, you are having to do harder and harder and harder content. Perhaps to the point where it will feel like Mythic Plus is competing less with heroic
Normal coaching
raiding.
today?
At least if that's their intent,
Yes,
it would
I
make
need my
sense
coaching.
to me, because that's something quite a few of us have felt. So basically, Blizzard are making it so
Normal
that
is
to
the new
really
hard
get the
mode of
best
the
stuff
game.
from Mythic Plus, you're actually having to go in there and do some pretty damn challenging stuff, because
That boss
with
looks
that health and
amazing.
damaging,
Holy
quite a
shit.
few of us
I want this as a mount.
have felt. So basically, Blizzard are making it so that to really get the best
Where'd it
stuff
go?
from Mythic
Look
Plus,
at this. Holy crap. This has to be a mount. This has to be a mount drop. I just hope that in Dragonflight, considering how many amazing looking dragons we're going to see, that there's just mounts galore. It's just a mount orgy, a mount explosion. That's what I want. I want everything to be mountable. Everyone and everything to be mountable, even better.
you're actually having to go in there and do some pretty damn challenging
What a
stuff.
badass looking
because
proto Drake.
with that health and damage increase, combined with the gear going up to Mythic plus 20, I mean, that does actually sound pretty damn hard. Perhaps the point there
I'm here to
is
spectate
that
and enjoy
that
the
will be
content.
hard
Nice.
enough that
Sounds
as a
good.
heroic raider, I won't feel like Mythic Plus is kind of like unduly strong-arming in to maybe the part of the game that I'm more used to, because I know one of the issues Blizzard know that people have is it's like, yeah, you could go do your raid stuff, but just split up into 2 teams of 5, do M+, you'll get better quality loot, which a lot of us have felt. And to cap it
Yeah.
off, here is the Keystone Master mount for the first
Very
season
cool.
of Dragonflight.
I like it. I'm gonna go
Interestingly
for it.
enough, it is a ground mount, and I could normally understand a degree of salt there. I think Blizzard feel okay making it be a ground mount, though, because ultimately
Dragon
people
flying.
they'll be using their dragon riding,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah. No reason
yeah.
to give us a
that's
flying
that's
mount.
basically that. Next, then, let's talk about tier sets.
Ah, yes.
Okay, tier sets will be returning in this expansion. Of course, it's nice to actually just have these as a core game feature again, like they always used to be. And these tier sets are light touch. Now, I did see some people be a bit frustrated, confused about why these tier sets are perhaps such a step back from the Season 3 ones of Shadowlands, but, well, that's actually decently normal for the first tier of an expansion. It's just it's been so long since we've actually had tier sets be a thing. Now, these sets will mostly be focused on a bit of your resource generation, maybe a bit of cooldown manipulation, a bit of damage, but basically Blizzard's focus, they've said, is a minimal impact on your talent choices.
Sure.
Because yes, Season 3 of Shadowlands style ones that really changed things up, those are quite fun and exciting. Yes, they will feel super fresh. There's a lot of value for that midway through an expansion. However, doing something like that at the start of this expansion, when we've already had the talent stuff, which has came with quite a few class changes actually, well, not only will that be a whole bunch of stuff at once, but also it would be a bit weird if Blizzard just gave us all these new talents and then gave us tier sets that are highly restrictive. Because they really make you go in one way in your talent.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're going to maximize your tier set bonus, you're going to spec a certain way. So I understand that they're shutting off
They didn't say no impact
the
to talent choice. They said minimal, so they'll do their best. So for Disc Priest that I might main in this
talking about the Shadowlands
it does mean that
using
Shield, that will buff your next spell by 10%. With the Force set, it means Penance, either 100% of its damage or 30% of its healing, will buff up your shield. Your next shield. So, simple enough, but feels good. For Frost DK, another example there is increased crit damage and a chance to not consume your killing machine charges. So that kind of thing, definitely noticeable. Some more noticeable than others, but still it'll be some power to get, it'll be decently fun to earn, but it will not be unduly impactful. Now that said, I think there is something that is perhaps a tad more dramatic. The Catalyst. So, there is some good news here. Blizzard said that they like the Catalyst for providing an RNG backstop, and of course, also even acknowledging that, yeah, people use it to collect cosmetic sets. So that's really good. Now, they said the new and returning players, they should not have a monumental, list of catch-up tasks, specifically about tier, and they say that they can confidently carry the Catalyst forward as an evergreen feature. Now that's nice. What's maybe less nice to some is the unlock timing, because it's the same. It is 6 weeks after Mythic opens. Now that said, there is a bit of a difference between Mythic now and Mythic then.
It's fine because honestly, if you just make the Catalyst available from day one, then it kind of eliminates the excitement of getting tier gear. You want some excitement.
In Sepulchre of the first ones, a little bit. Well, Mythic opened a week after Normal and Heroic, whereas Mythic is actually opening the same day as Normal and Heroic for this expansion. So I suppose for us people who don't do Mythic, it will feel like it's coming out a week earlier. I guess where people were angry at 8 weeks, it'll be 7 this time around. I suppose that'll be that. It is a bit weird, though, because Blizzard themselves said that they felt the Creation Catalyst actually unlocked too slowly in live. Now, with this not being that much faster, well, what's happened? Have they changed their mind? Or is it perhaps a case where the context is different and they feel that perhaps with the way that Mythic Plus, Raid, and Professions, which are now significantly more important, with what they do to gear, they just feel like this is actually an okay pacing? Kind of hard to say,
maybe.
But I am left wondering for the
PvP
players and the Mythic Plus players, well, that is going to be 6 weeks of the season where you are indeed relying 100% on the Great Vault for tier, which, I don't know. Maybe that didn't feel so good last time. Let me know what you think.
Then just raid. Don't be a bitch.
Let's talk a bit about alt leveling then. So, Dragon Isles Adventuring is the name of basically this expansion's version of Threads of Fate. That just means that once you've
this expansion is going to be extremely alt-friendly, the most ever.
You can level in any order, right? Do whatever zone you want in any order. That's just fine.
After you've done it in the correct order the first time.
As well, and
it's going to be a linear progression.
There will be world quests that drop gear that actually will scale to your level, but perhaps you'll want to because the world quests don't seem that aggressive, maybe you'll want to save the gear dropping ones until you actually hit max level. But a nice perk of this too is dragon riding, because your dragon riding is actually account wide in terms of the glyphs.
It's a great decision.
So the glyphs basically are just big things in the world. You fly into them and you unlock them, right?
Such a cool feature.
And they give you the dragon riding talent points. So because of the way this works, it does mean that on your new character, you can literally dragon ride off the boat, and you'll just be able to, have your talents. You'll be super powerful.
Sam, let's get this started. Epic always.
2 weeks, and of course, because you can basically 100% unlock everything in dragon riding, at least in terms of player power, in like the space of a few hours, flying around picking up the glyphs, it does mean that your alts they'll have an utterly turbocharged experience. So that's pretty sweet. Now, it doesn't seem like it's the fastest leveling experience in the world, but it's...
I think he sounds excited for dragonflight.
What you would
he seems excited.
I suppose one thing I will say is that the side quests are actually quite good in this expansion. You should check out Matt's video that he did over on our Variety channel. It was kind of like 4.5 player comparing the dragonflight stuff.
Make this raid bigger.
And within that, there's really a lot more positivity than you'd expect from him, which was actually quite nice to see. But seriously, the side quests have got quite a lot of heart, so... there's definitely enough.
I think the overall rhetoric from
Bellular
and all of his other teams that make videos is...
Personally, I would like
this
it
expansion
if maybe,
looks like it's going to be good.
chain running dungeons, chain running some PvP,
Coleman turned into
that
a
kind
druid.
of thing was like a little bit
more
positive, and I guess the more that you could, say, progress through the different renown reputations and stuff as you level your character up, the better. Okay, let's quickly round off things for the other two Warcrafts, which are, of course, modern and classic. So the XP buff is live in modern. You can get your 50% there.
Yep, get your 50% boost your fucking alts.
PvP gear chests that I think you need 1400 rating for, which, I mean, cool,
PvP gear, we talked about that.
For that. Over in Wrath of the Lich King, then, they've just applied a nifty little 30% honor discount for honor gear, and other than that, Nax, Eye of Eternity, and Sarth are releasing, which
there
is
you
all
go, if you're a classic
awesome.
player, which
I wish I was joining you, but cue the personal update bit that I teased at the end. So, the reason why there was no videos on the channel last week is... I went to Distant Worlds, the Final Fantasy Orchestra in London over the weekend, and of course London is full of people. So I did get the old virus, which
he got
of course
COVID.
Means that I've had to do all the quarantine stuff.
That's great.
Point where we could really go aggro and kind of like beef up and staff for things. But look, right
he's
now...
He's talking about his staffing and everything in his game. If you haven't heard about it before,
many bugs.
Have a game.
He's been a very busy guy.
Check it out sometime.
But I'm extremely happy. Or, I guess, fire over an email or something.
Nice.
Anyway.
That's
basically it for today's video.
Big Mythic Plus changes. Pre-patches coming. Cool pre-patch events. Get your butts ready, because this is going to be the ultimate alt expansion. And what else? Well, it's time to get raiding. Let's go. Let's get this party started. I'm going to start the playlist.